Very good.
Do the lights.
Oh, turn off the light.
Yes, please. Almost there. You need monster lighting. You see us here? How much with a cell phone? That doesn't work at all. That's totally dumb.
All right. You gotta take risks, people. Fail better.
Marty?
Hi, I'm Marty Kaplan. I am co-founder of Mystic Midway, and basically I help with producing and a bit of the technology side, and in real life or in fake life, I am a video game producer at Zynga.
Thank you, Marty.
Take it away, Scott.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Scott, and just quick thank you to Mini Labs. Thank you to DORKBOT, and hello to Sebastian, his first DORKBOT. Yes. Say, baby's first DORKBOT. Woo. Yay. Hello. All right. Yes. Good to see everybody. Thank you. So let's jump right in. I've been an event producer for 30 years, and I'm obsessed with not only creating, but attending the best experiences I can find or create. The most meaningful, the most, deeply awesome and transformational events. I've been obsessed with this. And in my studies over the last 30 years, and especially having the privilege of being here in the Bay Area, I've noticed correlations between events that work. I've noticed patterns, similarities, underlying foundational elements that are the same across the board. And I was like, oh my God, if this is the case, why aren't we putting more energy towards this and scaling and amplifying these techniques, these strategies, these principles, these concepts that make for deeply meaningful experiences? So I've been obsessed now with thinking okay, let's take this beyond events and just have it be like a social operating system. And I just give myself the permission to think okay, if I was God and helping to design society and working with everyone and really co-creating, how can we really make a society and a world that really serves the best in what we can be as a society? And every day I live my life dedicated to asking that question. How can we make things as good as possible for each other and with each other, working and collaborating with each other? How is this possible? I've seen it, and you've all seen it, and we've been part of this now for decades. So with the Mystic Midway here, what we're going to whip through here is our attempt at making this happen, of bringing a language for social collaboration into the world through fun events that are where you learn, you have a good time, and you take away something that's meaningful, hopefully. And let's move in. So Transmedia World is social theater of marvelous possibility. And the quest. Okay, there's the prerequisite picture of Einstein and prerequisite meaningful quote. I'm really in love with technology, but I'm also deeply terrified that we are just kind of giving our power and our sovereignty over to technology. The proliferation of people in their cell phones, and at my events, people are just they're on their phone, they're not present. It's something to be concerned about. So it's a question that I've been really continuing to ask. So on a kind of a more, hypothesis kind of level here, the goal of Midway is to restore the social commons, is to contribute to celebrating presence, empathy, regenerative current, social stewardship, waking that up within people, right? Valuing and awarding creativity, and giving people the means to quantify when they are contributing and when they're collaborating. Oh, yes, my participation has value. I see why, and I'm going to continue to do more of that because this is giving me meaning, leaving me with meaning, right? So the Midway has been really focused on here fostering a new aspirational social language for collaboration. It's been in development now really since the late 90s. It's called Superstravatar at first, Beauty Engine, and now for the last 5 or 6 years it's called Mystic Midway. So the roadmap. Make-believe, right? Play. So you see here kids playing make-believe, right? And sort of make-believe is a vehicle of collaboration for modeling good scripts, good social scripts. What works? Why does it work? play, immersive events are a great way of being able to like have a deep understanding, somatic understanding, an embodied understanding of why these scripts work and why they have value. You can understand something with your head, but when you're at an event and you're in an event that's magical and it's amazing and you feel it and you come away buzzing, right? That's what I'm talking about, right? So a framework. So the Midway, we've been obsessed with immersive events, in which everyone's given permission, they're given the methods of inquiry, they can play at their level of comfort, costuming, maybe not, kind of dipping their toe in, we create the container for them to like dive into this experience. And our values here, there it is, the GOLDFIRE. So the GOLDFIRE is a term that we've coined to basically point to, it's a win condition, right? The GOLDFIRE describes mutual success through collaborative effort. The GOLDFIRE is a term that we now use loosely that says like, okay, yeah, like many labs is raising the GOLDFIRE by bringing us all together for us to share, right? Woo, woo, raise the GOLDFIRE, raise the GOLDFIRE, raise the GOLDFIRE, right? Karen is a steward of community. She's been raising the GOLDFIRE for years, helping in her community, the DORKBOT community. They are raising the GOLDFIRE. We use the term because it's evocative, it's descriptive, it's kind of quantifying, but still it's artsy, right? And again, what are we looking to serve here? What are we looking to cultivate, to foster, to nurture? Emotional intelligence, collaboration, immersive play, inquiry, empathy. So there's some colorful images of shows that we've done. We really started kind of applying this language of social collaboration and play about in 2013. Started the Augmented World Expo in SoCap, and we've been doing Edwardian balls. We did event Spookeasy, going down, did some Burning Man stuff, and then last year we started really dipping our toe and working with some higher end corporate clients and building some like team building events, like reinventing that a little bit and showing a different model and applying the methodology, the tools, and the language of the Midway to fostering these corporate experiences.
Yeah, I would add just to that, those were all experiments, social experiments, even the corporate things that we're getting paid for that's funding all of the non-corporate stuff. So, we really have spent a lot of time iterating our methodologies, the systems that we make, the aesthetics we put out there, training up an ensemble of 100 people who we can draw on to really drop into events and create an environment and hold space for people. Yeah, I mean, it's really been a labor of love, but super satisfying to see it really take off.
So as a transmedia or mixed reality project, the Midway embraces timeless strategies, techniques, and newer technologies. Analog, down here towards more technical aspects, right? So going from the top, GOLDFIRE Rising, which is our tabletop game of story cards, which kind of embodies all of the concepts, all of the curriculum, all of the distillation of the concepts that I've been studying for 30 years. It goes into that card game. And what I'm called GOLDFIRE Co., these are the protocols, the methods that we've been training up the ensemble with, of how to kind of embody and play with these concepts, with the cards at live events. And then getting in here into Arcadia, which is a kind of a code name we have for Internet of Things immersive events, and Marty's going to go into this later. Magic Mirror, which is AR application, and a Funfair, we're calling it, and it's social VR, kind of Mystic Midway theme park, a virtual theme park where we have raptors animating the characters of the Midway, where people can come in and go on an experience of adventure and inquiry, encountering characters, and building juicy stories together.
Yeah, so that's really the transmedia range of projects that we have in mind.
Mm-hmm. So, setting up, going from the analog, right? So the design language, the speculative design language, really what the language of the Mystic Midway is it's speculative critical design. That's really the field in which we're working. And the language of the Midway that we put into these story cards here, and this is just a few of them here, you see they're broad enough to really, so people can understand what they are, but it also leaves room for interpretation of your own personal experience, right? The way a tarot does, but we've kind of simplified it and make it more accessible. It has a bit of a hero's journey kind of a thing, but it's all very archetypal. And so these are just a few of the cards of our working design language. You see down here we have various categories, or suits as we call them. So there's 13 concepts, 13 characters. We have these attractions, tools, and then the narrative twist. And these are kind of the components that we play with. And we use these in different ways every time. But these cards and the concepts, they've been distilling now. And I've been distilling this content for over 20 years. And we work with the ensemble. And some cards show up new, and like GOLDFIRE showed up last year. We're like, we need a win condition. People are like, well, how do I know when I'm winning? If this is a game, how do we know we're doing it right? We're like, let's give it a name. We'll call it GOLDFIRE. That sounds interesting. And now it's like, yeah, okay, you feeling the GOLDFIRE? Yeah, I'm feeling it. Like, boom. Like, yes, we're winning. Right? Because we're so used to playing a finite game in our society. How do we know when we're winning an infinite game? Which is what we're looking at in our time. It's a dialogue between the finite and infinite game. A finite game defined by winners and losers. An infinite game defined as a game in which the quality of play is raised by all the players for all the other players. Right? This is why we love all this community creative stuff, because we're learning how to play the infinite game, right? And it's a super meme. It's a meme I think people are hungry for, because everybody wins. It's a win-win scenario, right? So that's what we're talking about here, is bringing that in, just giving it body, giving it legs, giving it names, form.
And tools to achieve it.
Most
Without us
importantly,
in the room.
right? Good social design, right? So here we are kind of giving it a form as a tabletop game. And again, if anybody's interested in playing this, like, get my card, I will come, I will bring this. You know, if I don't know you, all the better. I'll come, 48 people, I'll come and I'll run it, we'll play it, and we'll have some fun. It's very simple. Let me know. We'd love to. We'd love to come and share it, because we need to run it. We need as much input. Currency, the story currency is something we created last year, which really worked well. The story currency is kind of a social little device we've created, and it rewards people for sharing stories, right? And I'm like, well, let's hack a script that everybody knows, money. That's a social script, right? Let's hack it, and let's turn it on its head. So we create magical, terrible, whimsical currency, right? You earn magical currency if you share something magical. Whimsical if you do something whimsical. Terrible if you share something that's challenging you in your life. You earn those currencies. And then people then take those currencies in different events to either like buy collectible trinkets, quote unquote, or to unlock at Midwayville at Soma Street Food Park. They took the currency and they leveled up the park. They actually pooled their money together to unlock attractions and bring out characters. For Genentech, they pooled all their money together to unlock charitable donations for up to $20,000, which was earmarked ahead of time, but they had to work together to pool their money to unlock the donations that went to the charities in the mission. So they got that feel-good feeling. They could feel the GOLDFIRE by working together, earning the currency, pooling it together. Like, oh, we need this more. We need like, okay, we got to do this right now. And it was really an amazingly fun social experiment. We didn't know if it would work or not. We're like, oh my God, okay, we're working with this giant corporate client. Like, holy shit, hope this works. And here again, what we're doing is we're telling people empathy has value. Your presence, your attention, your time has value, right? Creative collaboration, it has value. And if you put money, like, oh, look, brain, repatterning, look, these things have money, because see, money has value. We're repatterning people's, understanding what has value. And it works. People have that money, and they hold on to it, and it became money. You could feel it. It was really interesting, right? Social script. They have permission. You support them in, embracing it, and boom, there you go. Interactive world building. So, immersive events with highly realized environments, great sets, great, attention to detail, right? It turns us into kids, giving people permission to have fun, to dream, to play, to grow, right? We really love creating these immersive environments, so you can really step, through that door of possibility. It's something that we're really big on. All right. Here we're going to go into the AR component, and Marty's going to take over here for a second. But let's. I don't know if the sound is working on this.
Yeah. It is.
Oh, there it goes. Okay. Come one,
come all.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, roll up, and come away. Worlds of mystery and wonder await in the Midway.
These images are being triggered off of 2D sources, and those are the images you would see on your AR app on your phone.
So real world environment, there's a digital layer on top of it that's an augmented reality layer that we used an app to make with. We're using Unity now with Vuforia to basically like activate on posters or on targets of some kind to give an extra depth to the magical world. So and it's sort of we make it like a magic mirror like that you can use. Usually we want to have characters have like a dressed up tablet in a frame, you know, like take it away from like this is not your phone, this is a magic object. And in other parts of the transmedia efforts that we're going for, like in Arcadia, where we have this idea of Internet of Things community storytelling, this is where we start to get really interesting with you kind of hacker folks, and take the opportunity that objects that can understand they're next to other objects or in a certain space or moving around and project that data either onto things that are somebody's wearing or onto a big projection screen or onto a server somewhere. We can start to do really interesting stuff with this, and this is just a framework that we have for an event that's kind of the idea behind that, where you go into a Midway location, you register, you have an identity that the location understands, and you're starting to have objects that you move around, and a whole story is being told as everyone in the environment does this. Things activate in the world in reaction to how the players are using the smart objects, and then afterwards you go home and you have this whole log of basically what happened to the objects that you brought to it that can then be used to generate a story that you post to social media. Sure. That's one of my, this really started way back when I was doing career director of a media lab for a theme park based on The Wizard of Oz, and we wanted to make a world that you could go into as a, you know, outside of the park where you're playing an MMO and you have a character and an identity, and then when you go in, the park is reactive and you have like really, really interesting interactions, quests, things you can do that you bring from the virtual world, and then when you leave, of course, you have the virtual world giving you extra stuff because you had been there and unlocked them, and you could only do that in the physical location. So doing this in sort of an itinerant series of events with the Midway we call Arcadia, and these things will eventually hopefully look like sort of Dickens Fair or Renaissance Fair, except there's a lot more there's a technical infrastructure that does this kind of stuff, but then also all the performing ensemble, GOLDFIRE raising that happens. And you know, I don't know about you, but I would love to do that for a weekend. And then, so this is the virtual theme park. So this is really all about scaling. You know, not everybody's going to be able to go to that physical location and do those physical things. But you know, in the future, there's going to be the ability to get immersive from your home or from wherever. And so we wanted to make a part of the universe of the Midway will emanate into the Funfair, which is a social VR experience. It's a theme park that has real people puppeting characters. It's really a direct reflection of the learning that we had from doing like Genentech or Midwayville, where you have real people that are in the ensemble interacting with guests and showing them how to use a game system like the currency to raise the GOLDFIRE together, to learn things about each other. For example, you know, you will, with Mr. Nobody's shooting gallery, you will name your fears, and those will be, you know, detected and put up there, and then you shoot them down. You know, it could be that simple. Yet those kind of things, especially when a real person or a real actor whose experience is sort of mediating it, become very transformative experiences for people and letting go of you know, hang-ups or fears, right? And we found great success with this, and we really hope to translate our expertise in sort of real-world events to a virtual theme park.
And when you're doing, and one of the things that we learned with doing these larger scale events and having teams of players or friends or workmates is that the characters of the Midway are not human. Even if they are, they're make-believe. They're super fantastical. And what would happen is the teams of players would come and they would share things with those characters. And what's really happening is that the players are witnessing what each other is sharing, right? In a way they're not going to do face-to-face because well, that's scary and ego and I'm not sure if I'm going to be humiliated. But if you're all doing it together, got the same level of investment, buy-in, the same level of risk, right? That's what that's the beauty of games. But in a live social space, boy, it's profound, things that happen. And with Genentech, these teams of folks that all work together and have these real-world issues, they were going into these attractions that we hosted, and they were actually throwing out their real problems that they were facing, and they were able to heal from each other in a way that they never could when they were sitting down, like in an office or sitting at a table where they didn't have that permission and the whole, the fanciful environment. It was really amazing for us to kind of experience that and learn from them.
Cool. So the Mystic Midway is like it's kind of a small central team of Scott, myself, and Peter Overstreet, who's an incredible artist that we work with. We have some amazing advisors from on the technical side and on sort of the working with corporations and working with development and doing CG and stuff like that. And then we have an amazing sponsor. We work with Independent Arts and Media. Full disclosure, I'm on the board, but they do really, really great work and have helped us out a lot because we can take charitable donations to fund all these efforts to sort of develop our core worlds and bring them to life.
And just to be clear, like Mystic Midway is a nonprofit, and my vision is to really make the methodologies kind of as available as possible to communities, to make the tools, the currency, the cards. I just want to get these tools out in the world. Midwayville is our corporate entity that basically packages some of this stuff and we sell to corporate clients, in which we basically become our own philanthropists. So we're taking money from Midwayville that we earn, and we just funnel it straight to Mystic Midway to keep our development going. So we've developed this kind of weird hybrid relationship for now.
Yep.
It's a very small, it's usually pretty much like me, and like occasionally Bug and Morty on Slack, but we're very small, and
we pull up big things.
Yeah.
And so to help with that, we're looking for a lot of folks in this room, probably artists, engineers, people who do live production, and investors who want to either find, do charitable donation or figure out how to sort of make more commercial entities work with this body of content.
San Francisco ain't easy. Jesus Christ, you guys, man, this city, I tell you, it's such a ball buster. Oh my God. We've lost so many good people over the last couple of years.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
We're going to do some Q&A. So if you have a question, please raise your hand, and then we'll holler out. And then
like this very bright. Can we put something on it?
Sure, we'll absolutely do something.
Sure.
Did you have a question right there?
Yeah. So at the risk of accidentally inducing a cult, have you, like humans have a long history of creating transformative experiences, sort of in this context of religious